What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to State 48 Turtle and Tortoise. I am Hayden, and today, guys, I have got a video for you. You saw it in the thumbnail and title. Today we're going to talk about raising baby tortoises. Pyramiding, not pyramiding, healthy, not healthy. We're going to kind of go over what some of this means and how I personally raise my baby tortoises and the outcome I get from that. It was 50 degrees last night, and then it warmed up to 95 degrees today. So Arizona's having a very bipolar fall. But guys, I'm going to show you those tortoises real quick before I do. Take a quick peek at the animals. It is deep in breeding season right now, and so Champ's being even worse than usual. And I got some bad news for you guys. Well, bad news maybe, maybe not. This little gem of an albino sulcata I've been raising up since she was tiny is no longer a she. I haven't picked this tortoise up because I've got no reason to in probably 5-6 months. And somehow in those couple months, it's a male. I was more than convinced that since I've had this tortoise, I've had that tortoise since it was about 4 inches big. More than confident that it was a female. And it's a male. It needs a name. Most of the tortoises have names. But guys, the reason you guys all clicked on today's video, you want to see my pretty face and you guys wanted to talk about baby tortoises, pyramiding, and all that fun stuff. Oh, hey, look, you guys just saw that video posted. She's doing good. I will tell you, she's super healthy, doing great, but I think she may have a little bit of a gimp leg now, unfortunately. Not ideal by any means, but she's healthy, she's strong. I'm gonna kind of let her do her thing and just keep an eye on her. But guys, what I'm gonna do here is grab a couple tortoises for you. And we're going to talk about pyramiding in sulcata tortoises. How it happens, how to make it better, how to raise your baby tortoise so it doesn't happen. I'm trying to grab a tortoise really quick, so here you go. Perfect example. I've got 2 specimens here, both very, very healthy tortoises. We've got example 1, example 2. Well, this guy's a runner and a track star. These tortoises are both from this season. They're both very, very healthy. But as you can tell, this guy's got some pyramiding, much as I hate to admit it. And this guy is glass smooth. And these guys both were born here at State 48 Turtle and Tortoise. Now we're gonna talk about something. They're both healthy, and I'm gonna flip them over to show you guys a couple things really quick. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this baby tortoise is a little bit on the thinner side. It's healthy, perfectly fine, but it doesn't have a big belly like this one does, right? I'm gonna tell you guys the difference, because this tortoise here is actually a couple months older than the tortoise on top. And I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. And while I tell you guys it, I'm gonna see if they're interested in any grass here. This tortoise, the smooth-shelled tortoise, from the time it hatched, about 2 weeks old, this tortoise has lived outside in Arizona. I literally put a group of tortoises, and this was more of an experiment for myself, at about a week to 2 weeks old, as soon as their belly buttons were healed up. I put them outside and allowed them to live outside, grazing on grass and weeds and stuff that was outside, and every so often, maybe once a week, supplemented with lettuce. I allowed these guys to be outdoors and do what they wanted to do. They grew pretty quick nonetheless still, however, a little bit slower. Now this tortoise here is a 100 het for albino sulcata. Hi. Not a normal sulcata like this one. I gotta keep an eye on it because it's a runner. There's a little bit of pyramiding. At this point, it's mostly cosmetic. If it were to continue, there's a good chance that if it were to continue on this trajectory, it would have caused issues with its health. But at this point, this is more than I would prefer or like, or even like to admit. This is the worst one I had. And it's really interesting because you can have some tortoises inside that are not nearly as pyramided and some that are worse than others. This one, for whatever reason, decided that it was going to be worse. It grew really quick. But let me show you how I raise these tortoises. Like I said, this lived outdoors in an enclosure And I don't need these two guys anymore. I'm gonna put them in a bin real quick here. But this was my group. This wasn't where they were kept, obviously. As you can tell, they're dusty, they're dirty. This is just where I keep them at night right now. Every single one of them is smooth. Every single one that was outside was smooth. This tortoise I kept indoors. It fed primarily on romaine. I did supplement with some Missouri LS and some things like that. But this tortoise lived indoors. One thing I noticed, obviously aside from the pyramiding, is that tortoise that lived indoors, which was under here, it had UVB, it had heat, it had humidity, had everything it needed. But I can tell you one thing, its shell over the course of its life has consistently been firmer and more full than the tortoise that lived outside. Pyramiding is the only downside that I have seen to the way I raised the indoor one, and it can be done better. I'll show you guys really quick before I show you where I kept these guys outside. Luckily in Arizona we can keep them outside pretty much year round. Man, the cameras are chirping today. But you can see here, this is an albino sulcata that was grown indoors, and it's very, very smooth, very smooth. So there's ways to do it for sure. But this guy down here, I had, you know, a decent amount of them, and they got a little bit of pyramiding, but overall health is perfect. Their shells were actually far more hard than these ones that were outside, which I thought was interesting because they weren't exposed to natural UVB. And then this is what I used for those tortoises outside. This was their enclosure right here that I just took down because they're all getting shipped out tomorrow. And this is where they lived. You can kind of see this little rectangle here. They had a shaded spot. They had grass to nibble on all the time. And I would supplement their feed every so often. And that was the extent of my intervention. I wouldn't soak them. As you can tell, the sprinklers were just on. I would soak the area maybe once a week. And they would eat grass. And every once in a while eat supplemental food that I would give them. That's it. My tortoises that are in here now are yearlings and other stuff like that. And they're absolutely massive. Check this tortoise out here. This tortoise is a double het for albino and ivory. And look how bowling ball smooth this tortoise is. This is not, I raised this one from about 7 inches. So it's definitely grown a couple inches since I got it, but bowling ball smooth. All the new growth, bowling ball smooth. I am a very big fan of getting your tortoises outside as soon as you can. I think it's the best way to do it. Even if you live in cooler climate, maybe just have some supplemental heat for them out there. Ugh, I squeaked, that was weird. But have some supplemental heat for them outside. But I can tell you, when I was a kid, 9 years old, we had very minimal knowledge. And I can tell you back then, people thought pyramiding was due to too high of a protein diet and not to do with humidity, space, diet, and, well, sort of diet, I guess, but protein was the main contributing factor to it. We literally did not know what we were doing with sulcatas, right? When we kept them inside, we had like a literal light bulb on them. But we were antsy to have them outside, and so what did we do? As soon as we could, I mean, we had them for 3 months. We put them outside, and they lived outside almost all year round. And in the winter, we put a little heat lamp out there on them and make sure they were going in every night. But we put those tortoises outside as quick as we could. And I can tell you what, every tortoise that I raised as a kid, got my first sulcata when I was about 9 years old, was very, very, very smooth. And I wasn't trying to have the perfect indoor environment. I didn't have a glass bubble for them to live in where humidity was exactly 92.7%. We didn't do that. We got the tortoises outside and let them live their lives. Granted, in Arizona, we're blessed to be able to do that very effectively. But that is my preaching to the choir today, right? To a lot of you guys, is putting your tortoise outside as soon as you can, as long as your conditions permit. I'm not a fan of keeping tortoises indoor. I prefer to keep them outdoors. And we're gonna wrap up this video by me showing you guys what the outdoors does for tortoises by showing you guys, again, you guys saw that double head for albino, but let's check out some of my yearling albinos. I put these guys outside, minus the winter. I brought them in for the winter last year, but I put them outside when they were only a couple inches big. this one. And the albinos, I've noticed, they always feel like they're more pyramided than they are. This one has a little bit of pyramiding, but overall has phenomenal shell growth. I always judge by the sides here what that looks like. Phenomenal shell growth living outside. Let's see if we have any others. This is Rosie. She is about as smooth as they come. And again, can you see a little bit of pyramiding there? You can. If this was a normal sulcata, you wouldn't notice it. And I always get flack from people because they're like, oh, that's Tortoise is pyramided. It's tough to get a sulcata to be much smoother than this without doing crazy stuff, or literally having them outside from the time they were literally hatched out. Widowy. Just kidding, guys, there's too many memes lately. But this is Rosie. She's freaking beautiful. She means so much to me. Probably one of the most important tortoises, probably the most important tortoise I've ever hatched. But she's awesome. She's doing phenomenally. She lives outside and is dense. Tortoises, as people say, should weigh more than they look in size, right? Look how healthy these poops are. You see that grass in the poop? Grass in the poop? These guys live outdoors. They've got shade, they got a water dish, a sprinkler goes on to keep humidity up, and they live out here and they eat this grass. Their area goes over there, and this is gonna be an extension pen right here. This whole thing. They're gonna have all these weeds probably by the end of the week. But guys, that's my video. That's my soapbox. This is what I've got for you guys. My 2 cents on raising baby sulcata tortoises. And for those of you who have to raise them indoors, don't beat yourselves up over it. Get the UVB, get the heat, give them a good diet, and feed them. And take care of them and get them outside as quick as you can. Do what you can. But that's my story. These are my tortoises. They're not 100% perfect, but they're gonna live life super great and super healthy. And now that they're outside, they're gonna live outside. But again, guys, I'm Hayden. Stay 4-H on Tortoise. Appreciate you guys. If you guys made it this far to the end of the video right now, let me know down in the comments. Let me know that you guys are an OG supporter. If you guys made it all the way to this point in the video. Appreciate you guys. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers, guys. It sounds like a lot, but then it doesn't, because it has been a very slow grind for me. But I appreciate the support you guys all are giving me. And I'm gonna be posting more. I've been trying to be on that grind. We've been posting shorts and Instagram posts and stuff like that every single day, but I'm really trying to do at least 1, if not 2 videos a week on YouTube full-length stuff. But again, guys, have a great week, and I will see you guys later. Peace.